It's a fine October afternoon. Welcome to the Iceland Sports Fields in Mississauga for the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse Provincial Gold Medal Championship Final between the Hamilton Bengals and the London Mollies. Hello again, Lance Wynn working alongside Mark Schukowski and, of course, JVI Productions. Both teams already on the field with Hamilton beating Orangeville 9-6 the final there in the first semi. London earned their spot in today's final with an impressive 11-5 win over the Milton Chaos. And, Mark, when we talk about these two teams, number one ranked in Hamilton, number two London, you got to figure this is kind of what we expected at the beginning here at the end.
Oh, absolutely. No real surprise we got the top two teams here in our A Division Championship. Sticks wet. It makes it a lot tougher for the passes and the shots. So we're kind of blessed here with, the players will take the wind and a little bit of cool temperatures here. Other than that, excellent conditions.
Yeah, certainly, of course, when you talk about an outdoor sport, weather always a factor. Not that so today is underway. And if you haven't been privileged to a lot of field lacrosse, understand it's a possession game, no shot clock. So it's all about the fundamentals. You're passing, you're catching, you're shooting, and more importantly, movement without the ball. And you'll see some highly skilled players here. And right off the bat, it's Vern Hill getting things started. And if you don't know who Vern Hill is, you better ask someone his first of the game.
Well, we'll get to know him. Like you say, if you don't know him, he's got a load of energy each and every game. Does a great job. They kind of he beat his defender there on ISO and rolled in front of the cage and really had his pickings of where to put that shot and snipes it in for a 1-0 lead here early in the first quarter against the Hamilton Bengals.
Of course, Ryan Jones, starting goaltender for the Mollies, comes in with a 6-1-1 regular season record and a goals against of 7.50. And having a son that frequents between the pipes, that having a goals against average under 10 in this sport is no small feat.
Yeah, exactly. Those traditional statistics for goalies really don't mean a heck of a lot in field lacrosse. When they talk about a goalie being a quarterback, that is tenfold here in the field lacrosse game. He's, telling the players where to go, when to slide, really even the breakouts. So you want a veteran guy down there that understands the game.
Well, that is, and a good analogy. The quarterback, as you can see that one tucked in, it's going to be a crease call as Ty Argent, one of the main weapons on this Bengals team, comes in, of course, 3 goals in the semifinal win. And now a look here at the Mollies as they work it down. Quick, waste no time, and Andy Campbell parked right on that left side crease, picks up his first of the game, and we're tied 1-1.
Well, and a great play by London. You can see the veteran savvy of some of those players that they've played together. The transition down the pipe. The defender slid up to him, he dishes it off to Sean Campbell, who drops it down to his big brother Andy Campbell, and Andy Campbell knows where the net is, and he makes no mistake.
The big man certainly does. Had 21 goals, 19 assists during the regular season. Had 2 goals, 2 assists in the semis, and he looks pretty comfortable out there in that attack position. And a little different, and I mean, when you look at box, Mark, you can talk about the offense-defensive flow that way. But here in field, a little different. Possession-wise, when you're on offense, you're strictly on offense. And defense, you handle the defensive end of the field.
Well, there's definitely, more specialized positions here in the field game, even from the face-off, get-off guys that you might see, or playing defense, long stick middies, the type of defense you want to play, and how they use that in their transition play as well, too, all play a factor, and there's often described in field lacrosse, there's a position for every type of athlete on a team.
Blake Goris, midfielder, as he split 2 deep and got a shot off. Possession will remain with the Mollies, as you saw a yellow flag hit the turf.
Yeah, it looks like we had an offside or illegal procedure was the call, and for 30 seconds or less, the Mollies will have a chance to go up by 1.
Kyle Childerhouse out there at the top. They'll work it around to the right side, dump it down. Good skip pass up top, shot, good save, and didn't get a chance to speak about Connor Scott, goaltender for the Bengals. Comes in with a 2-0 record. His goals against 7.50 during the regular season, but more importantly, it's all about picking up the wins here. And this, of course, with a gold medal on the line, we might as well just toss the stats right out the window, Mark, because we're all starting fresh.
He made a beautiful save on that scoring opportunity by London to keep it a tie game here, 1-1 in the first quarter.
Well, you talk about the netminders in box, netminders in field, and I wanted to get a chance to ask your son, because he plays goaltender for both, that what possessed him to go from full equipment, regulation size nets to less equipment, bigger nets, okay? Because really, when you look at field, the advantage certainly doesn't favor the netminder.
Yeah, that was, we're not reliving those days way back in, when he's 12, 13 years old, and, we had with a number of players just kind of rotating positions, and he's one who just kind of gravitated to that side of the field and in the pipes, and I guess he just didn't like going off for changes, so, he just grew with the sport. There's a kind of a story of a average athlete when he was younger and just kind of had the passion and just grew with the sport, and has become quite a leader on some of the teams that he's played. I'm quite proud of, not just the player he's become, but the man he's become as well.
Well, you should, and as someone who's lucky enough to enjoy him out there playing the box game on a regular basis for the Arena Lacrosse League, he's a pleasure to watch. So, you know what? Don't downplay it, Dad. Kid's got some skills, no doubt about a chance here, and a beauty finish, Keegan Crowley, as he pockets his first of the game, and it's a 2-1 lead for the Mollies.
Oh, just love the long sticks when they take the ball down, and he finds himself with a little bit of a lane to the net. And you can see an example here of a couple of unforced turnovers, I'd call it, by Hamilton on the offensive zone, turn into a goal on the other side. So beautiful goal. Love to see the long poles drive into the cage and popping one in. That's a tough shot to save for the goal. It's tough enough with these short sticks, let alone a long pole, firing out of that twig.
Well, you're right, and handling that long pole in itself, whether you be a midi long pole or a defensive long, is no easy task. And I say that learning how to handle that stick takes some work, but as an offensive player, boy, when you get marked by a long stick, different story.
And that, you sometimes just sit back and just in awe of the talent that some of these players here in Ontario have, and handle that long pole and short stick, as if it is actually intended like an extension of your arm, extension of your hands, and they're so fluid with it. And as you see throughout this game and the B final that we'll have, you'll see a lot of good talent, and they make it look so natural.
Well, I tell you, with the induction of the modified lacrosse game headed for the 2028 Olympics, I think things are going to be ramped up in the next few years, as Canada, of course, on the international stage, one of the trendsetters, one of the powerhouse teams, of course, along with the U.S., and so they'll be expected to impress as you see Vern Hill working one-on-one, and a good job team defense, McGregor Allen, those two, of course, teammates in the all. And back come the Mollies now with a chance with numbers. Dump down low. Beauty passing as Campbell finds Mitchell Robertson for the finish. And the Mollies take a 3-1 lead here in the first.
Well, there again, it starts on the defensive side as Keegan Crowley does a nice double as they turn Vern Hill right into him, and he stripped that ball and moved it up. And there again, nice passing by the Mollies, and find the open man, and really the goalie is just helpless in that case.
No chance at all, and it's going to have to be a long pole if you're going to strip that ball from Vern Hill, one of the good hands people, of course, as the Mollies jump out now, and Hamilton looking to answer off the draw. They will control and set up possession in the offensive end of the field. We are midway through the first quarter here of the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse Championships, Provincial Championship, gold medal game, and that shot's just wide of the mark. So teeing that up was Mitch Wales.
And for those here that are new to field lacrosse, we welcome you. And one of the key rules for shots is it's the possession goes on a shot, whether it's touched by the goalie or off the net. The team or the player that is closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds is awarded possession. So you'll often see a player in what we call the X position. That's the space behind the net, and they're backing up the shots.
That's good. I think sometimes if you're not familiar with the sport, important for you to see why guys are hustling when the shot is wide or whatever, headed out of bounds, because the closest player regains possession. And the Mollies now will go back to work on offense. Haven't really spent a lot of time in the offensive end. They have executed their offense quite well, got a quick, efficient shot, and they've capitalized 3 times already.
Yeah, 3 unanswered here by the Mollies, keeping that 3-1 lead. And there we go. No harm in taking that shot as Andy Campbell's backing up the shot behind the net, and he'll quarterback the offense from behind the net. And that's a position he just loves to maintain and roll the cage, maybe use that big body and get towards the net and see if he can pop a couple in that way.
Not afraid to use that big frame for sure. Campbell dumps it off, was looking for Goris, not able to connect, and instead possession to Hamilton. Connor Scott now will make a good outlet pass, and the Bengals will try to work it up into the offensive end.
Yeah, as you talked about it being a possession game, Hamilton certainly doesn't want to get down too far here. They want to keep things within striking distance, and 2 goals is about there. You don't want to go to 3 or 4 because then London can just maintain possession, frustrate, wear down that defense. And look for some ISOs going to the net. So Hamilton's going to be looking to trying to get back and keep this within striking distance.
Ill-advised pass from Wales as he was looking down low, but a good job to hustle and regain possession. Double team, though, trying to close it off, and they do a good job defensively. As you can see, Darius Anderson not happy.
Yeah, a little bit of, mucking around there for the loose ball, and maybe a bit of holding, clutching, grabbing going on. And, Darius got a little frustrated there by not getting the ball and gave a little shot there. So we'll see what this is. I imagine there's no high sticking penalty here in field lacrosse, so you tend to call it a slash. So.
And I apologize. That's not Darius. That's actually Julian Gay. Tough to see the 18 and the 16.
Yeah, so he's calling a cross check, and I believe also he called, no, I thought he was calling a technical foul on London here, but it looks like they've got 6 in the offensive zone, so it'll be a power play or man up opportunity here for the London Mollies.
And a big chance here to extend this lead, and like you said, Mark, you talk about that deficit, not falling too far behind to a good team, and I think if Hamilton can hold here somehow, it'd go a long way for them keeping pace here in the early goings of this first.
Yeah, and now we've got another slashing call. Jake Steinfeld's going off, and London really has an opportunity here to get 1 or possibly 2 with 6 on 4.
Good job on the interception with the long pole and legging it up over midfield and into the offensive end. Hamilton now will look to work some clock.
Yeah, there's Mitch Wales, another long pole that makes it look so easy and just picks that off. Really a key play for them and timely, to say the least.
Darius Anderson's going to go for a bit of a run. Draws a crowd there. He's going to try and retain possession, and looks like we got a timeout called.
Yeah, smart play there, as the player was doubled down low, and which is where if you're going to be doubled, that's a good place to be doubled and lose the ball if that's happened. But they recognize that they get an opportunity to reset here and call one of their 2 timeouts per half they get here in the Senior Men's Field League.
With that said, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back. You're watching, of course, the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse Provincial Championship here, JVI Productions. Back to action here as the Bengals continue to play short. A tough pass and a good job to outrun a defender looking in the middle, trying to connect with Argent. Not able to do it. Molly's come back the other way.
As one of the players back off from the penalty, the other one should be released shortly, and they'll be back to 10 on 10. As there we go. So the Hamilton Bengals come out of that unscathed.
Big good heads-up play to call that timeout by Anderson. Seems to have paid dividends here. Now possession to the Mollies, and they will work it around the horn. And I think that's one of the big differences with the box game in the field is the amount of space you have, but the strategy, Mark, is a lot different. A little more precise. There's a little more to it than the flow to box.
Absolutely. I mean, he's still using the picks, the screens, the off-ball movement from players. You talk about that space, and you think you'd have a lot more room and opportunities going to the net, but that 6-foot long pole really closes those lanes down awfully quick. And that's some of the box players new to field. It takes them a little while to figure that out, but they eventually do.
Well, box players come in, they feel like, well, I can use my same stick. The nets are bigger. The goalies are wearing less equipment, and it's body checking as opposed to cross checking. So it should be so much easier, right? But you're right. It's not until they get that education that they realize there are some certain challenges to this game as there are to the box game. That shot, sidearm, just wide of the mark, and defensively, give credit to Brett Stoller as not only did he make that save, but he does a good job to collect the loose ball, gets it back, and Bengals now will look to work it up.
What a shot by Robertson. It rifles it off the post, and that is the quarter action here.
Glad to have you with us as we get set for second quarter action. The London Mollies leading the Hamilton Bengals 3-1 to score here, and what's been a very tightly contested first quarter. And when we look at, we've already talked about both these two teams very evenly matched, the number 1 and the number 2, their regular season records, of course, very close. Let's talk a little bit, Mark, about the upcoming Olympics 2028, the modified games. So for those that don't know, it's kind of a hybrid between the box game and the field game. And they've done some good things to speed it up, including notably a shot clock, which makes a big difference. But what are your thoughts on that? And first about what the importance of the sport being welcomed into the 2028 Olympics overall.
Well, it's great to have any kind of lacrosse back in the Olympics. So from that perspective, I'm going to take it. And obviously, the sixes is new to everybody. Some trial runs and some pros playing it, gives you an idea of what it can be played at a high level. The minor field here in Ontario had what a shot by Ty Argent, sorry. Makes it 3-2 for the...
That was worth the pause and stop for a sec as Argent, in case you didn't know, had 3 goals, of course, in the semifinals. And he pockets his first here today.
Well, there's a type of athlete that's probably going to excel, whether it's box, field, or the sixes game. And I think what we were trying to, as I was kind of alluding to, we did a minor field tournament on the Thanksgiving weekend and had some really good buy-in from the minor clubs. Is that contact? A lot of that, the stick work, obviously, right, is going to be a part of it, but as Ontario or Canadian athletes or field lacrosse or box lacrosse players are going to have to get used to is, I kind of see it maybe a little bit more like basketball is, but where does the degree of pushing go? You're not going to have the body checks and that type of thing. So really excited of where it can go. It's exciting being part of something new and helping shape that sector of the game. So, hey, we got 5 years to develop our athletes and develop that game. I think it's going to be some exciting times for lacrosse.
Ryan Jones with a big save there. And you know what? I like the analogy that you used, Mark, about basketball, international-wise. Used to be a big bang 'em, grind it out kind of game. Now with the European influence, it's more of a three-point shooting contest. And everyone, the parity in the countries has now gone up, and everyone sort of had to get away from that bump and grind kind of game to the more finesse game. And I think that's going to be something that Canada is certainly going to have to adjust to. But, I mean, what are your thoughts, just if we keep it in Ontario, what are your thoughts about as Andy Campbell? You talk about basketball and Andy Campbell posts up down on the crease there on the left side and puts his man on the blocks, rolls right and pockets another goal.
If you're not going to have somebody that can match up with size and strength for somebody like him, he's going to have his way to the net. And on the sixes, it will be, the 6x6 net. So not a lot of protection for the goalies. So even the stats are going to mean even less in the sixes. But there'll be definitely a quarterback or move the transition up. So fast game, skill, they like Stan Cockerton and the committee that he worked with really tried to, develop it for a lot of skill development, high skill. But like I say, I think that game will evolve a little bit from what we think it's going to be and what it is currently. But hey, more lacrosse, I'm all for it.
Well, yeah, and that led me to the question I asked you. What is your perception of the growth of the field game here in Ontario over, say, the course of the last 10 years? I mean, if you go back 20, it was a game that was sort of almost stood by itself. If you played box, it didn't mean you played field. Now you got these guys that are playing year-round, split half their time in the field, the other half in the box.
Well, we've always had, some of those players go down to the States. NCAA is kind of where it started, and they're always looking for that big lefty from Canada. That they're heavy on the righties down there. But as those opportunities kind of enhanced even more or expanded even more for Canadian players, you got a lot more programs and a lot more emphasis on the field game, and a lot more players going down and prep school and the NCAA and playing there, and then coming back up here and playing box. So, really developing both skills, and that helps enhance the type of game we have, because here in the senior men's field, you get a lot of guys that have come from the prep schools, from the NCAA. KUFLA's another league that has just flourished with another goal by
Cody Menzies,
here.
that was a beautiful pass into Patrick Thompson. And, of course, he had a goal and 2 assists in the semi, so good to get him on track if you're a Bengals fan. And, more importantly, that cuts the lead to 1.
And now more guys are playing field more often, 9, sometimes even 12 months out of the year, right? You're going from field to box, and, there's going to be some crossover on strategies and skills, but it does nothing but enhance the game and the skill level of our athletes.
Do you think that it would be beneficial to Canadian players if they had an outlet like the NCAA where you could go and play at a high caliber and get your schooling at the same time, and it sort of not cost you? Do you think that would be a beneficial? Now, we've been talking about that for 100 years. I'm just throwing it out there because this sport in particular is what I'm pertaining to.
Well, it certainly doesn't hurt, and what player would not want that opportunity? And the families, for the 4 or 5 years would be very memorable, and they can come back and really help other players that don't have that. And we talk about lacrosse sense, or the understanding of the game, or lacrosse awareness, and even that intelligence of the players is just increasing more and more and more. where somebody like myself who had a cup of coffee in this league back in the day wouldn't stand a chance. I'd be filling up water bottles now, and most of these players out here are, as good as some of our top players back in the day.
Well, a big save there from Connor Scott to give possession now to the Bengals, and Scott will work it up over midfield, and a good job. Bengals now will set things up, try to pull even here, trailing by a goal. We're in the second quarter here, this gold medal final. Of course, Hamilton came in with a 9-6 win over Orangeville. London convincing 11-5 over Milton.
Yeah, both close games in the first half, but there again, the London slowly chipped away, Hamilton slowly chipped away, 2-goal lead, 3-goal lead, and then it became a battle with the clock, and the other team just kind of ran out of time, and Orangeville played lights out, really, from the, kind of like going back and forth between the two games, but Orangeville really, battled all the way to the end and got a couple, but like I said, just a couple late and ran out of time.
Beauty pass inside as Mitch Wales does a good job to find the open man, and it looks like Cody Menzies, the recipient, as he picks up his first of the game.
Oh, a nice cut to the net by Cody Menzies, and Mitch Wales with that long pole. I love it when the long pole plays on the offensive side, and I mean, it's no hindrance for him. It's no handicap for Mitch Wales as he, places it right where it needs to be, and Cody Menzies, had one of the nicest feeds he's ever going to get and makes no mistake. And
so we're tied now 4-4. And Bengals now with possession, looking for, able to play the man short, and beautiful diving finish. And the Bengals now with a 5-4 lead. And now,
it looks great play. It looks like Julian guy with that roller going to the net. Who was passing, who knows he didn't have to drive to the net. But
threw
that's
it
what
behind
happened.
Menzies,
Yeah.
and that shot just wide of the mark from Crowley. Now, you're much more versed in the field game, and tell me, and I'm asking you personally, do you feel that, would you say that the defensive long pole or a midi long pole has more impact on the game?
Well, they both have obviously the impact on the game, but I mean, if you have any coach that identifies a long stick midi on their roster, their eyes light up. The things that you can do with a long stick midi, like a Mitch Wales here, is an exceptional talent who can play defense, transition, and contribute in the offensive zone. You get a guy like him, that's a game changer, right? If you, a lot of the long poles are the big lanky guys that can really use their stick. And what a save by Connor Scott. Just gets a piece
that
of
rolled right along that blue line and stayed out. And I agree with you, Mark. I always thought that if you've got athletic-wise a guy who's able to be your midi long stick, that is such a weapon to have, because it means he has the skill, also the speed and endurance to play that midfield position. So you're kind of getting a combo of both. Good defense there.
Yeah, that's definitely not taking anything away from anybody that's maybe considered a close defender on a long stick. They play their role, and everybody's got their job to do on the field. And if they can work as a cohesive unit, all the better.
And now I like this. You see Vern Hill playing attack earlier, has gone back, and now he's playing long pole. Defensively, pick that up. Bengals now move it up into the offensive end. So multi-skills, multi-talented. If you've got guys that can do a number of different things, that certainly helps as a coach.
And I'm sure at some point in time in their career of all these players they've been on the rosters that have had 10 to 12 players. So for them to get a break, they probably had to switch from midi to attack or from midi to long pole and switch it up just to save their legs a little bit. So yeah, you can really see some players like, it's cool to see Vern Hill there with the long pole. For him, he's probably smiling, getting a chance to lay a little bit of lumber on some of the
you could bet he is, for sure. As Bengals now looking for an opening. Great switch hands, but that's wide of the mark, so good attempt from Anderson.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got a crease violation on that shot, so that's an easy turnover there for London as they go for the long bomb here.
Airing that one out.
Could just be turning that over 70 yards down the field.
Those are sometimes the little things that add up, Mark, and you can see Hamilton now. They've clearly got the momentum and the lead, their first lead of this game.
And I think we're going to be inside of 30 seconds here in the second quarter as the timer's on the field, and we'll have stop time in the last 30 seconds of quarters 1, 2, and 3, and the last 2 minutes of the fourth will be stop time.
That bounce shot, good save made there, and ball loose. Bengals have it, and they'll kick it back out. Another good shot from Argent. That's stopped again. And that looks like it's the half. Back here for third quarter action, and as you were saying, Mark, a violation to end the first half, and possession belongs to the Bengals.
Yeah, so a real big opportunity here for the Bengals as they start where play was kind of blown down at the end of the second quarter, and they get a chance here to take a 2-goal lead on the Mollies, but the Mollies be looking to turn the tides and maybe get a shorty or kill some time off the penalty if they can get possession.
Well, London had a 3-1 lead after one. They've only added one tally, and Hamilton continues to add to theirs. Ty Argent tack another one on for him, and more importantly, it's 6-4.
A good ball movement there by the Hamilton Bengals, and you give a guy like Ty Argent a little bit of time and space, and you can see how he can rip the ball, and he's deadly accurate. It's hard to, if you get the defense rotating, it's hard to recover, and they found the open man, and they found the right open man.
Well, you
nice
give a guy,
goal by Argent.
Yeah, you give a guy like Argent just that little bit more space that he doesn't have even in the box game where he's deadly, and certainly that's going to be the case here as Hamilton strikes first here in this third quarter. Possession now to London, and they could sure use a bit of a spark, Mark. They seem to have gone into a bit of a lull and haven't been able to get out of it, and that may be due to the Bengals and their defense.
Yeah, a little slow start. The Bengals were not sharp that early minutes of the first quarter. A few unforced turnovers, but they seem to have corrected that and woke up when they found themselves down 3-1 and now find themselves up 6-4.
Gregor Allen did a good job to fish that loose ball out, looking to that cross the crease pass, but instead possession belongs to the Bengals, and another good job by Connor Scott patrolling his house, and he's going to try to move it up.
Smart little fake there by Connor Scott. It's a good recognition by some of his middies to make sure they don't go offside there, and that's the second time Connor's done that. A nice, slow, deliberate clear.
And in case you were wondering, that's not a fishing net that he has. That's his actual goal stick. If you notice the depth of that pocket, could probably fit a small child in there or hide something in there that's not supposed to be. Either way, good job defensively by the Mollies as they regain possession. And Nicholas Ferris now moving it up. Almost stripped Vern Hill. And if you don't know Vern Hill, a master thief in his own right, as he will pick your pocket. Awfully tricky, working with a regular size stick now. Just finished playing the top on that power play for Hamilton, now back defensively. I think the Mollies, they need to stop and find a way to get that ball to the big man, Andy Campbell, who was effective early on, but hasn't had a whole lot to work with since.
Yeah, they tried to go a little ISO there and had a good opportunity in front of the net, but I'm sure he would have liked to take a couple more steps to get a little bit of a better shooting angle, but Connor Scott there gets his body in front of that ball And now Mitch Wales looks like he gets the Lucy and is going to give Hamilton an opportunity to add to their lead.
Good effort by possession now to the Bengals as they will set things up. And it's Julian Gay. Argent working one-on-one, has some room. Defended by Chandler Allen, so no secrets there. Allen well aware of the game. Good pass off. That one ripped off the crossbar. So a cannon from Wales finds the iron, and possession will stay right here with the Bengals.
Yeah, Brendan Campbell slipped on the field there, and Argent recognized that and found the open man and inches away from bulging the twine, but Hamilton still gains possession here.
Wales turning the corner on the run. Couldn't get a good shot off. Had it knocked down, and the Mollies now will counter the other way. Good passing, looking no for Campbell, but brother Brendan had that knocked down, but they recover nicely, and a much-needed goal. And it's Nick Ferris picking up his first of the game.
Yeah, Nick Ferris, one of the leading goal scorers. Good to, I'm sure Hamilton's glad to see him getting going here. And, you know, they're getting another opportunistic, not really a set offensive play by any means, but he gets that ball and sees he's got a step and a lane towards the net and cashes in and gets the Mollies within one, as it's now 6-5 for Hamilton Bengals.
So a big one for not just the scoreboard here in the third, but for momentum's sake, as the Mollies were stymied for a while there, had a bit of a drought, and now just one goal closer possession out to the Bengals. They'll work things on the left side. Argent, he'll scoot up. Chandler Allen still on him. Slide it over Wales. Mike McKegney marking him. Wales, more than a handful, has good speed, good hands. That long pole, if he's able to turn that corner, get a good shot off. Kick it back out. Bengals now, that shot stopped. And another good save there made by Jones. Argent collects the rebound. They'll reset back to the top. Heidecker. And Heidecker, another talented lacrosse player, as he finds that low corner for his first of the game. And the Bengals, with a quick answer, regain that 2-goal cushion.
Yeah, Jonesy made a great save just a few seconds before, but ground effectively. Those bounce shots are killers on the goalies, because you lose. You know, you're following it down low, and it can stay a bit low, or it can go up high, and Heidecker bulges the twine here. And you can see Jones a little frustrated with himself, but all he could there. That was just a nice, well-placed shot by Ben Heidecker.
You know, as a goaltender, you got to have a short memory, thick skin and a short memory. That's for sure, certainly in this game. And Bengals now with possession and the lead. Seen the Mollies with a little bit of an outburst, but it was a 4-goal run by the Bengals that have given them this lead, and they're looking to answer that one on the run. Well,
yeah, you know, then there's that 3-goal lead there, first half of the first quarter. You know, then Andy Campbell punched one in the second, and they got one here in the third. It's really been Hamilton that's been taking it to them, and you know, it's a continually, as soon as they take one step forward, it seems like they're taking 2 steps back here. But when you got 2 talented teams here, you know, and you got Patrick Thompson there, firing another one from outside. You know, there's just too much firepower.
I don't know if he has a license for that firearm, because that was a quite the sidearm for his second of the game. And Hamilton now leading this one 8-5, and you can see that Offensively, the Bengals, their flow, much more comfortable, much more confident, you can see, in making those passes and finding the openings.
Yeah, now with a bit of a cushion, the mistakes. Although you don't want to create any mistakes or any unforced errors, but they're not going to be quite as impactful if you're down by 3 or even just up by 1. So
once again, the Bengals now with possession. So with possession comes the clock, and when you've got the lead, time on your side makes a big difference in some of the decisions that you'd make offensively. And Bengals now spread the field, and they're going to work it around. Heidecker looking to make a move. Goes by 2 defenders. Wrong stick side. Tries to go up top. Good save, though, as Jones closed that off. Jones now going to try to wheel out of some trouble. And gets it over to Chandler Allen. Allen now tasked with marking Ty Argent, so no rest for the wicked there. And the Mollies now over midfield.
Great job by the Mollies on that clear. Starts with, Heidecker running out a bit of a real estate there on the drive to the net. Jonesy still makes a nice stop and set a nice pick on that clear. And Mollies did a nice job of efficiently and without any error getting that ball up into the offensive zone. And they're going to see if Andy Campbell can do something with that big body.
Goes to the underhand. Possession will stay right with the Mollies. And you can see that he's got Brett Stoller on him, and height-wise, Stoller certainly gives up a few inches, but as far as strength and size, I'd probably have to put them pretty even. Stoller pretty strong overall, and that's going to stay with the Mollies, much to the chagrin of Stoller. Marked on Campbell. Campbell, little flip up. Big shot there and a good save. So excellent job between the pipes for Scott. And the Bengals now will move it up with Vern Hill.
Those Hamilton defenders, their long poles, doing a great job locking down on both Campbells. And that's really kind of thwarted their offense here, it looks like. So effective. Not flashy, but effective. Nice save.
Yeah,
right.
Wales with a good shot. Took a pass from Vern Hill and had a good scoring opportunity. But Jones up to the task there to keep his team in this game here as we're winding down here in this third quarter. Childerhouse ducks by 1, gets by Vern Hill, goes to the far side. That's wide. And Mollies will keep possession. You're going to have to see if one of these Campbells can get in this game here. And from our vantage point, that may be the difference in this game, whether or not they can get some scoring punch from Campbell. Offensively, Mollies work it around. Davis Prince dumps it off. Good move, Brendan Campbell. Better save, though, as Scott with an outlet pass finds Wales. Wales, that conveniently flipped over. And he'll work the give and go with Connor Gillis. Wales, shot, scores! Oh, baby, he's lighting it up today.
What can you say? It almost takes it leaves you speechless a little bit there. A great transition. Sean Campbell kind of got caught, had to run back on defense and hustling back. But, it just kind of shows you what Hamilton can do to you. They've got so many weapons that can do.
And if you got one, you use them.
Yeah, and they definitely need some of that, to take some pressure off the Campbells. We talk about them being the cornerstone of their offense. But, when that's being locked off and being iced, it's, they need a couple other guys to help out, and that's certainly trying to do their part there on that last goal.
Patrick Thompson stopped. And just for those at home right now, it is 9-6 in favor of the Hamilton Bengals, as they are capture the gold. No easy task winning a provincial gold medal. Trying to duck in and go over the top. Good save there, as, boy, you talk about extending. Tegan Crowley, boy, got some length. Add that long stick in there, and that's a whole lot.
Oh, and Arjun
stopped.
Save. End-to-end action here. Right at the end of the third quarter, and Arjun sneaks in behind everybody and almost pumps one in.
So there you have it, 3 quarters in the books here in this gold medal game. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after this. All locked and loaded now here for the fourth quarter of this gold medal game here at the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse Provincial Championships at the Iceland Sports Fields here in Mississauga, Ontario. Lance Wynn, Mark Schakowsky, glad to have you join us. And when we talk, of course, about the talent on the field, and there's a whole lot of it, got to talk sometimes about the toughest job out there. I know it's not the netminder, although it is, but that second group out there and the officials. And we spoke, Mark, that the seen and not heard must mean they're doing a pretty good game.
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't really mentioned much about them, but that crew chief here and Tyler Flake there just gives a call the penalty, and Trevor Wilson. So they're doing a fantastic job here. It helps when the teams are sticking to playing lacrosse.
Officials being good at what they do, the field game, the box game, good for the players to become familiar with them as well, and it gives them a chance to sort of get a feel of the players' nuances and that sort of thing. But more importantly for the players, you know where that line is, right, with these officials. And, of course, you can throw firm hand Joel Furman in there as well. But, like I said, tough task, but not that one there, as Darius Anderson makes it look easy from point blank, picks up his first of the game. An even 10 spot for Hamilton now, and they lead by 4.
Yeah, just nice ball movement in tight, and that's a different type of game they can play. They can spread you out. They can, the talent of these box players playing field can punish you when they're in close, and just some nice crisp passing here, and Anderson extends that to a 4-goal lead for the Hamilton Bengals.
Off the draw, London had it momentarily. Bengals will pick it up. Mike McLaughlin, and boy, I tell you, you're going to have a veteran leadership. He's the guy you want out there, and everything he does at a high level. Sets the pace, the routines, and more importantly, it's that leadership he provides on the field or on the rink that's vital to the teams that he plays on. I don't think anyone talks about Mike McLaughlin in a negative way.
No, I was just saying, it's like you see him on the field, and there he is. You almost expect to see him out there, but then you're thinking he's been out there forever, timeless, and he's in great shape. Always smiling. You can tell he just loves playing lacrosse.
Well, geez, he got all bent out of shape. I called him a veteran. He got all bent out of shape. I was like, dude, I don't know what to tell you, but goodness, you've been around a while. So, but in excellent shape, and boy, you talk about someone that gives you 150% every time. He's your guy. So a quarter left here for the Mollies to make up this 4-goal differential, and they're going to need to spread, and they're going to need some work from one of the Campbells, and I'm not talking about the soup, talking about the player looking down low, and there you have it, as Sean Campbell on the scoreboard, and a big goal at a very big time. It's now 10-7.
Oh, you called it. And Sean Campbell's another guy. On the same theme of guys who just love playing lacrosse. I mean, that's the whole Campbell family. We've got 3 of them out there. And, Brendan being the youngest, obviously the other 2 boys, inspired him to keep playing. But great seeing all 3 of them out there. And Sean Campbell just showing what he can do and driving to the net. very, very key goal for them. So well done by Sean Campbell there to sneak that in. Hip side, far hip side off of Connor Scott.
Well, I tell you, if you're playing this sport at this level and at this juncture in your life, you've been bitten by the bug. He's been all over this pitch here in this game. Bengals now with a chance. Beauty pass, easy finish, Ty Argent.
Now Patrick Thompson, I tell you, that's a pass with a shot wind-up and just fools everybody. I think freezes Jones in net, and Argent wide open at the crease and has the whole 6x6 net to put it in.
I don't know about you, I paused too. That's how good that fake was. Okay, that was a no-look and an easier gift you're never going to get, as Argent with the easy pocket finish for his third of the game. But
yeah, if Argent wouldn't have put that in, he may not have got another pass from Thompson.
Well, no, and the next round was definitely on him
exactly,
for the next year, for sure. So that said, Molly's now getting it back, and you can just start to see with the body language that the Bengals are starting to feel it, like they're closing in on something good, something golden. Molly's know that with time not on their side, it's going to be a challenge now to make up this differential.
Yeah, it's it's interesting in this league how the teams that kind of on the cusp now that Hamilton was for so long, so close. This isn't over yet, but I think they're playing with a lot of confidence here, and they're putting themselves in a good position here, and might be finally reaping some rewards for all the hard work they put in for the number of years. But the Molly's coming up and almost filling the gap that Hamilton was in years ago. So they've slowly developed a good core of guys here and built off of that. And it's really enjoyable watching them play and see how they've developed over the years.
Well, that's what you like to see, and I think that's one of the benefits that we get spending time in the broadcast booth. We might get a chance to see the story progress and watch these young men go from young men to adulthood, at least in the sport, and just to watch their careers progress and how they've gotten so much better. And you can see there is just really a treat for us.
Yeah, so in that play, they had the stall on, so when the officials put the stall on, they have to keep it within the offensive zone, which is basically just inside the restraining line. And Hamilton got it close to there, and London was trying to push him over, and a great play to get that ball over to the left side, and then gets in Thompson's stick, and, well, when Thompson's got the ball, there's a good chance that's going to go into the net. He made no mistake.
So Thompson with his third of the game. You got him down for 4, 3?
Down for 4. One in the second, one in the third.
Well, listen, I'm not going to argue because people who have listened to me know my counter is shaky as it is. Yeah. So we can go with that.
I could be wrong. No. That was Argent. You're correct. It was Thompson with a shot to Argent. I already had Thompson down on that shot.
Because I got
3 goals for you.
Well, listen, that's it. I'm not in your math class. You're not in mine, all right? Building the most sound foundation. But I got you. Bengals battling for trying to regain that possession in the offensive end. Good job, Argent, as he comes away with it, kicks it back out. Darius Anderson just teed up and bulging the twine one more time.
Yeah, so you saw London really pressing there. Jones went out so they could double the ball. And they were putting a lot of pressure on Hamilton, but they did a good job escaping that pressure and then got it out to the open man. And Jones could barely get set by the time Anderson wound up and took that shot. So, that's a chance you got to take, You can't pull the goalie for an offense, an extra offender. And, on defense, there's only so many strategies you can have because you're limited to the number of players you can have on each side of the field.
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure if we have a timeout on the field here.
Okay, so what we've got here is a stick check, it looks like. So
Okay.
probably I'm going to say desperation, but probably a bit of a opportunity to see if they can get that goal nullified and get the ball.
Sometimes you got to throw that challenge flag.
Yeah.
You know that. And
Yeah, so the
hope for the best.
rules are pretty specific here in field lacrosse for not just the length of the stick, the size of the head, the depth of the pocket. So they went with a long pole, so I don't know if that's going to negate the goal, but it may give them possession.
Now,
Possibly.
do you know the pocket depth? And this is throwing it right at you. Pocket depth for the goalies.
So no problem with the goalies. There's no depth for the goalies.
That's what I figured.
Only with the stick. As you look through the mesh, say if you're looking at the head from the side, you'll see these guys will look up top, and if they can't see any gap between the top of the ball and the bottom of the plastic of the head of the stick, right? So that's what they're going to be looking for, making sure it's not constructed in a way that the ball can come out or anything like that. So
right. Well, it's all about modifications that'll give a player an advantage.
Yeah.
And that's
so. And one of the weirdest ones, as they're pointing and they're kind of rolling his eyes, is at the end of the stick, you need to have that closed off with some tape at the least, and that's a 30-second or a technical violation. So there's not going to be any time served here, but they will give London the ball. So you just got to go get some tape and cap it off. But yeah, the particular rules for the stick can get from being very understandable and reasonable to really that's what I got nailed for.
Well, I think that's what Stoller was saying over there. Really? For the open end? Okay. Well, take it as it is. And Vern Hale, interception. And he's going to move it up. And Hamilton and Ben Heidecker in the offensive end. And Heidecker now. So Hamilton closing in on a provincial gold medal here in 2023 as the top men's senior field lacrosse team here in the province. Molly's not going to go down quietly, going to fight till the end. That pass goes awry, and it'll be possession to the Bengals.
Yeah, great effort by them to get it down. Unfortunately, maybe one pass too many there, or just off balance a little bit there. But yeah, definitely good to see Molly's not giving up. It's opportunities that you don't want to look back and say, we gave it to them. We battled it for all 60 minutes, and that's what they're doing here. They're
Well, I think that's what you'd like to see for sure, and in the whole sportsmanship fair game, go hard till the end, right? And that's the case. And Hamilton now is just going to look here to burn some clock.
Get some fresh legs out there. Well-deserved rest by Mitch Wells. Played a heck of a game, and
Agree. Some weapons on that Bengals roster, including Wales for sure, who set the pace early on in this game. Patrick Thompson certainly doing his job, and don't take anything away from Connor Scott. He's been outstanding. Well, we've seen we've seen enough of these games to know it's funny. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it's that one time that someone made a decision one way or the other, and those are the consequences you live with. And
and you hope as athletes, I'm sure they do. They all look back and say, what are some opportunities throughout that course of the game that could have changed it? What could they have done to have that turning point?
Yeah, and it's never just one. It's
right.
usually never just one.
Yeah, right.
Okay, there's always a handful of,
yep.
When you're out there, I could have did this, should have did that. This may have led to that instead of that kind of thing. But Hamilton has put together a masterful game plan. They've also, despite the slow start, trailing 3-1 after one, they put together 4 solid quarters and stayed consistent.
Yeah, not bad. That nice turnover there by Owen Dew there, and brought it up and give London Mollies here another chance to drive to the net.
The flag hits the turf, and the Mollies now on offense looking for that pass, and we'll get this one sorted.
There's an offside, looks like. Stepping over the line. Usually happens when an attackman has to go back on defense and the midi doesn't recognize it. I imagine it's something along those lines.
Andy Campbell had more room than he's had in 3 quarters. Wasn't able to find the mark. On a good save from Scott. Mollies now reset on offense. Swinging around to the top. That one again. Vern Hill, long pole, knocked that one in, and a great job to fish that out. Bengals almost had possession. Mollies regain and back to work on offense. At Vern Hill again, I tell you, watch your wallet. He'll pick your pocket. And Wales!
Oh, it was a little bit of a suicide pass.
It was, but Wales, talk about doing the plastic man, bounced off that one, and he's in the offensive end.
Crowley, I give him some credit there. I think he held up just enough, knocked him down, try and get a loose ball off it, but having a little respect there for.
Well, that's what we like to see,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We were in, no need. I'm sure you could see that it was from his blind side and could have taken him right out. And a good job, as that is the horn, and that is going to do it as the Hamilton Bengals win this one 13-7 the final, and they are the gold medal champions of the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse League. And congratulations to the Bengals. Some final thoughts on what we've seen here today, Mark?
Well, great lacrosse game. Excellent to be here and watch this. Kudos to both teams there, but Hamilton Bengals, save for a few minutes of that first half of the first quarter, I would say played almost flawless. Well-deserved championship win for them.
Well-deserved is right, as the Bengals are the gold medal champions. The London Mollies will settle for the silver. That will do it for us here. For my partner, Mark Schakowsky, JVI Productions. Of course, I'm Lance Wynn. We'll see you next time.